Good morning, welcome back to Near Post Flick On. Glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspur. Spurs are on their way to Bilbao. Tottenham's gone and done it again. Yes, indeed. If you're just waking up today, Tottenham Hotspur have done it. Finally, the monkey's off their back. After 17 years, they have done it. Tottenham are back in the big time, winning the Europa League trophy, having beaten Man United 1-0 in Bilbao. And my word, he did say it. He did say it. I always win in my second year. And boy, oh boy, was he right. Those were the words that were echoed by Tottenham manager Ange Postecoglou at the start of the season. And given Spurs' awful year in the league, you wouldn't be wrong for not believing Ange's statement, to be honest. You wouldn't be wrong because you'd be thinking, hang about, it's a bit delusional because Tottenham have been absolutely awful in the Premier League this season. Awful. But however, credit to Ange Postecoglou. The Tottenham manager has masterminded their roads to victory in the Europa League. Now, Spurs have been crowned champions after defeating Manchester United 1-0 in the Europa League final through a very, very scrappy but decisive Brennan Johnson goal. I mean, I saw the post-game interview, and to be honest, he didn't even want to claim the goal. He didn't want to claim the goal. That's how scrappy the goal was. But you know what? In football, does not matter how the ball goes in, as long as the ball goes in the back of the net. That's all that matters. As long as the ball goes back in the net, you can play a blinder, but if you don't get the ball in the back of the net, you're not going to win anything. Goals win prizes, and Brennan Johnson's goal, albeit very scrappy, has given Tottenham their first trophy since in 17 years, since the 2008 Carabao, or it was called the Worthington Cup back then, Carabao Cup win in 2008. So this win also represents Tottenham's third cup victory in the competition, having previously won it, I think, in 1972 and 1984. So you know what it means to the Tottenham supporters. You know what it means to the Tottenham fans. You know what it means to Daniel Levy. You know what it means to the club. You know what it means to the staff, to everybody. You know what it means to Ange. You know what it means to the players. This is ginormous. It's a massive, massive, gigantic step in the right direction for Tottenham. I mean, you could argue that they've had a better season than Arsenal. And that's not a dig at Arsenal. I'm just stating the facts. Although Tottenham have had a shitty season in the Premier League, however, they've ended the season with a trophy, a European trophy, their third one. European trophy, and most importantly, a Champions League position, a Champions League place in in next year's Champions League. So credit to Ange Postecoglou, he's done a phenomenal job. I mean, he took some criticisms this season. He did, and I was one of the people that criticised him for some of the lackluster performances that Spurs turned or displayed at points this season. So I think some of the criticisms were justified. However, you've got to give credit where credit is due, and I think they've been, he's done a great job. He's done a great job. He said he'd win it. He said he always wins stuff, and he proved this point. So, credit to Ange Postecoglou. I mean, it's a massive moment, isn't it? It's a massive moment for Spurs supporters, Spurs fans. It's a moment that they've been waiting for, a moment of joy, a moment of pride, a moment of victory. So I think we can all say Spurs will no longer be synonymous with being the bottle jobs. I think that stigma will now linger with Arsenal, the red side of North London. Again, no dig, just saying. Just saying, they will now be renowned as the bottle jobs of of North London. At least Tottenham can say, listen, we went through it, but we've now gotten that monkey off our back, and we're headed in the right direction. And you know what? Tottenham can build from this. It could be the first of many trophies for Spurs. It could be the first of many trophies for Spurs, but we'll see how it goes. I felt the players played well. I think, Postecoglou and the players have done a phenomenal job. Spurs captain or club captain Son, I think he deserves praise as well, for this trophy and for the loyalty that he's shown to Spurs over the years. He's been there well over 10 years. So yeah, he deserves it. You've got to give credit where it's due. He deserves it. And to be fair as well, I think I will definitely give credit to Ange for not starting Son in that final yesterday. Because if you cast your mind back to 2019, um, in the Champions League final against Liverpool, whereby Pochettino started Kane after a long absence from injury. And I think that was a wrong decision to make. He should have played some more of the informed players and not play a player that hasn't played football in 3-4 months and just started him in the final. And I think it was a good call from Ange. He had the balls and he had the guts to be able to say, no, Sonny, yeah, you're the club captain, but today you are starting on the bench. And I think he was right and justified to start Richarlison. And it paid dividends for Spurs. It's paid dividends for Spurs. They've got the trophy. They've done a great job. I felt the team played out of their skin. They've played out of their skin, and they definitely deserve this, Spurs. Let's not kid ourselves. They deserved it. I mean, yes, I've touched on it already. The match could have been more entertaining. It could have been more entertaining. Both clubs needed the victory to rescue what's been an appalling season for both. Man United are desperate for a trophy. They were desperate. But now, they'll probably end the season finishing 16th or 17th, depending on how the last game of the season goes. But, both clubs were desperate for that win. But fortunately for Tottenham and everybody associated with Tottenham, they were the ones that got over the line, thanks to Brennan Johnson. They were the ones that got over the line. The back four was solid through and through. Romero definitely deserves the player of the match or the man of the match recognition there. He definitely put in a performance. The midfield trio of Sarr, Bentancur, and Basuma was solid. Endless running, endless grit, endless engine. Just kept on going, kept on going, kept on going. Udogi had a good game as well, as did Porro. And, we've got to applaud Van der Ven for that last ditch clearance off the line. I don't know how he got there, but I tell you what, if Man United had scored at that point, definitely I think the game changes and the momentum would go with Man United. But luckily for Spurs, Van der Ven was there when it mattered, and he was able to clear the ball off the line. You know, hats off, hats off. And let's be honest as well, the Tottenham back four haven't played together for the whole season because of injuries, and who knows what could have happened? Who knows what could have happened if they'd had a first team, fully fit first team? Who knows what could have happened? Maybe they could have pushed Liverpool and Arsenal for that top three spot. But like Anne says, top three doesn't mean anything. Winning trophies means a lot, and Tottenham are Europa League champions, and they fully deserve it. They fully deserve it. But that isn't to say Man United didn't put up some type of fight or battle. They did. Ahmed had a good game. Definitely had a good first half. I felt Fernandez had a good game as well, but it just wasn't to be. And I think Armorin probably waited too long. I think he probably waited too long to make those substitutions. If he had brought on Garnacho earlier, the results might have been different, because as soon as he came on, you could see that Garnacho was a threat. He was a threat, and all he wanted to do was attack and go forward. But unfortunately, for some reason, Armorin delayed his strategic changes. Whereas Ange, on the other hand, was more forward thinking, and he thought, he made the necessary changes, and he tinkered. He tinkered. He didn't make changes just just for the sake of making changes. He made very, very calculated and decisive changes, which I think helped Tottenham. Even bringing on Danso was a masterclass, and defending that lead. And, you've got to be proud of the way Spurs played yesterday. They defended for their lives, and I think they did a phenomenal job. They did a phenomenal job, Credit to Vicario in goal as well, because he pulled off some saves. I mean, that last minute save from that header from Luke Shaw, I think it was. What a save from that goalkeeper. Again, that goes in. It's 1-1. You've got to go into extra time, and Tottenham don't want that. Tottenham don't want that. So, credit to the team. I think they played well. They played well, and they deserve it. So it's onwards and upwards for Spurs. And I think massive, massive, massive credit to Ange Postecoglou for what he's achieved in his 2 years at Spurs. Is the win, is it good enough? Is it good enough? will he be given his role next year, or will they sack him in the summer? Who knows? Who knows? But for now, he's done what Jose Mourinho couldn't do. He's done what Nuno couldn't do. He's done what Conte couldn't do. He's done what Pochettino couldn't do, and which is bringing silverware back to Tottenham. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium will now have a trophy in the cabinet, and that's a massive achievement because you never know when you're going to be in the next final. You never know when you're going to win your next trophy. So for the fact that he's come in and he's done what he's done, you just got to take your hat off to Ange Postecoglou. And who knows if Tottenham have, let's say Tottenham have a injury-free season and they recruit well over the summer. Tottenham could push for. They could. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to say it. Tottenham could push for a Premier League title. They could push for their very first Premier League title, and what an achievement that would be. That would be massive, massive for the club. But one thing's for sure: White Hart Lane will be buzzing all summer. Tottenham Hotspur, champions of Europe. Well done, Spurs. Well done, Ange. Well done, team. Please like, share, and subscribe. Come on, you Spurs.